So thank you so much again for that awesome introduction. So I am founder and CEO of Getting to Zero Financial. So without further ado, I will jump into the meat and potatoes. So, okay. So this is the quick agenda. So I'm going to introduce myself and what I do. We're going to do a quick and dirty on budgeting, quick and dirty on investing, a little bit about couples coaching, which is what I focus on. Then I'm going to talk about my ideal clients. You guys could be on the lookout. So the most important thing with financial coaching, it's not about the numbers. And a lot of people think it is. Like it's about budgeting, it's about getting out of debt. Those are just really tools. It's about a feeling. It's about transforming your relationship, whether that's with yourself or with your spouse. It's about forgiveness. A lot of times people come to me, they've made a lot of mistakes. You know, one of the steps in moving forward is really forgiving yourself or forgiving your partner if they've made mistakes. People want peace of mind. People want confidence. That's why they want to get their finances together. Some of the things that people say once they've gone through the process are, you know, we've never had better communication as a couple, or I can finally sleep at night. So these are like the real, like the deep why of like why people, you know, come to me for help. So what is a financial coach? So a financial coach is someone who educates, empowers, and acts as really an accountability partner for clients with their personal finances. We help people develop healthy money habits. I teach basics of money management. And the core is really budgeting for a monthly surplus, getting out of debt if there is any, and creating savings goals that reflect their values and moving towards those goals. So quick disclaimer, I don't offer any type of investment advice. I am going to talk about investments, but I don't recommend specific investments. This presentation is for educational purposes only, and I'm not a CFP, I'm not an investment advisor, and I'm not licensed to give any type of investment advice. Okay, so here's me at 24 years old. Aren't I adorable? So the reason I'm showing this is the phase of my life. What's that?
That was all of us.
Yeah.
Are you the one on the right?
Yeah, that's me on the right. Thanks, John. The reason I'm showing this is because this is me when I was in my not saving any money and going into debt phase of my life. Just so you can see what I look like. Anyway, so the core of budgeting, just to like quickly, we're gonna get into budgeting right now. There's four parts of budgeting. Can you guys see my mouse, by the way?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, cool. There's 4 parts of it. So they say this is all based on a month. So 25% of your monthly take-home pay should go to a roof over your head, right? They say you should be able to pay your rent, your mortgage with 1 week of work. Okay. 25% should go to like other bills, like your power bill or whatever. Sorry about that. Your cable bill, your groceries. And then the other 2 are for the future and now. Fun money is for now, and money for the future is the money that you invest. 40% is kind of aggressive, but I mean, I think that's a goal that most people should strive for. But this is how you like categorize it. So when you think about a budget, you have to think about what are your priorities, right? They say there's a famous quote. Your budget is the roadmap for your priorities. So if you look at what you're spending your money on, you can determine what's most important to you. So if you're spending in 1 month $2,000 on clothing and $100 on towards your retirement, your savings goals, clearly looking good now is more important to you than being on a beach when you retire versus working at McDonald's. So to be a little extreme. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about investing. So why invest? So if you ask anybody, or you look this up, people say like, well, why do you invest? Well, there's 3 reasons. You want to increase your spending power, you want to counter inflation, and you want to create income to replace your earned income so one day you can retire. But really, this is just the textbook stuff. I think for me, it's more personal. Like the reason I invest is I remember the first book that got me on my journey with finances was a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And that book came out in the 90s, and it was a New York Times bestseller for like 15 years. And it really opened my eyes to like the world of investing, real estate investing, stock investing, things like that. And I remember being at my first job, 21, 22 years old, and realizing how vulnerable I was. And seeing there were people around me getting fired. I was working at Nextel, if anyone remembers Nextel, the walkie-talkie phones.
Yep.
In Elmsford, New York. And I saw people get fired. It was really scary. It was the first time I saw like adults get fired. And I remember thinking to myself, is this what life is? Like, fuck this place. And if someone doesn't like the way you look at them, they could throw you on the street. Like, what is that? Like, I was so scared and I felt so powerless. So I really started investing to kind of regain my power back, and that's what I love about what I do is I educate people on how to do the same thing. So there's 3 types of income. So there's earned income, typically from a paycheck or a job. There's passive income, which is positive cash flow from real estate. And then there's portfolio income, which is dividends, interest from paper assets like stocks, bonds, funds, things like that. So one thing people will say when they start investing, like they'll try to find like a guru or something like that. And they'll ask this person, they'll save like 5, 10 grand. They'll be like, what should I invest in? Like, what's a good investment? Should I go in the stock market? Should I buy real estate? Should I, invest in a business? Should I buy gold? And the truth is that you should invest in your education, because your most important asset is your education, because market conditions can change. So one instrument like a house or a stock could be valuable one day and another day it's not. So it's not just that as simple as like, oh, you buy this one thing or you get this one hot stock tip or whatever. It's about knowing about the market, knowing about the assets. What are the ins and outs? What's happening? Reading the news, keeping up on things. If you had $5,000, you know what I would say to someone who had $5,000? I'd say go to the library and take out every book on investing you can find, and subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, like read Barron's, all that stuff, Cranes, and I would just learn as much as I could, and then you'd be able to be informed and make decisions. So again, good investment? No, it's about, are you a good investor, right? There's a difference. Good investment, good instrument versus are you a good investor? So if you buy a house, are you good at managing that house? How are you going to screen tenants? What if they don't pay rent? Like I have some properties, I've gone through to hell and back to make money with them. I've learned so much. I can teach people how to invest now. It's difficult at first, but you learn a lot along the way. If you buy a stock, well, when do you exit that position? Do you have a stop loss? How long are you going to hold it for? What's your tax strategy? You got to think about these things. All right, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about retirement planning. And I love to show this slide because it blows people's minds, but it really is true. And I'll show you how in a second. If you save $54 a day, you only have to work for 20 years. We'll let that sink in for a minute.
What?
You save $54 a day, you only have to work for 20 years. I'm going to show you how. With 2 more slides to change your life. So these are called tax-deferred savings vehicles. I'm not going to get into the mechanics, the ins and outs of like how these work, because that's like a whole nother presentation. But just know that you could sock away, and these numbers change every year. In 2010, in America, in a 401k account, you can sock away $19,500 a year, and it can grow tax deferred. So you don't have to pay taxes on the growth while it grows anyway. And with a Roth IRA, you could sock away $6,000 a year. That will also grow tax deferred for a total of $25,500 a year. And if you divide that on a money out of your paycheck basis anyway, it comes out to $54 per day. So how does that work? So if you wind up saving $25,500 a year, you start with nothing. You have 20 years to grow. Let's say you make 8% in the market, which is kind of conservative. Like typically people say like 10%. Well, it depends who you ask, but 8% is like pretty conservative. Compounds once a year. In 20 years, you'll have $1,260,284. So what do you do with that money? Let's say you started when you're 20 and you're smart. Unlike me, I'm not. And I really started saving and investing until I was like 30 or something. Say you do it, and now you're 40, and you have $1.2 million. Well, there's a way to convert that into monthly income. If you work with someone like John, who can like put you in a basket of things and figure it out. I'm not going to get into that, but this is possible, and I know people who do it. So one thing I do when I work with people is we establish goals. So here are some like typical goals, right? People want to retire in 20 years. People want to buy a home in 5 years. People want to save for their child's education maybe in 15 years when they're 5 years old or something like that. So a little bit about couples. So why do most marriages fail? So finances is the second most common reason. I did a survey of all my married friends, and I asked them, like, what are the things that you guys fight about? Like, what are the biggest issues with money with couples? This is what everyone said. I'm not going to read it, but you can kind of get an idea here. At the end of the day, personally, I think that love is more important than money, because one person in a relationship could be making all the money, but they wouldn't be able to do that if they didn't have the love and support of the other person. So I think money is just a tool that people use to survive. but it's much deeper than that. Like there's sort of a misogynistic saying that behind every successful man is a woman, but it could go both ways. Behind every successful woman is a man. But that really just speaks to the point of like, there's more to life than money, and without love and support, nobody has the ability to do anything. So who are my ideal clients? I'm looking to work with couples who struggle with money to align their priorities, empower their relationships, and help them build wealth. So what does that look like? For me, that would be couples who are engaged, couples who just got married, couples who are struggling with money. Maybe they're married for a long time. Any couples that you know that are looking to enhance their relationship through fixing their money, that's someone that I want to work with. And that's me. I offer a free 30-minute consultation. You can check out my website, gettingzerofinancial.com. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much.
Good job. Awesome.